Wanyanyekevu briefly told them about his dream, then they all whispered amongst themselves until Wanyanyekevu said, "They are waiting for us to come out the door, so I will go around quietly and kill the man lying down. I need you to wait for my signal and get near the men with the horses so as not to spook them off." Wanyanyekevu pointed at Jom. "You two need to kill the other men waiting at the doorway." They were all in agreement. Circling around, Wanyanyekevu came upon the man on his stomach, holding his eye up close to the rifle, looking for any sudden movement to come out of the cube. Wanyanyekevu told himself that he needed to kill him in a way that was quick but quiet. Taking a metal star out of his pouch, he threw it with enough force to penetrate his skull. The man's head dropped to the ground, dead. Then he headed toward the men with the horses. There was enough space between them that he could kill one without alarming the others, so he took out one of them. He raised his hands to the brothers, and Jonathan shot the other men while Wanyanyekevu took out the third man running for his life. They gathered the bodies together and threw them on top of each other. Jonathan and Jom shook their heads looking at the men's clothing, and Jonathan said with fear in his eyes, "We definitely can't stay here now. Do you know who the hell these men are?" "Dead?" Wanyanyekevu said. Jonathan thought about it for a second and said, "Well, yeah, they are, but these are the men of the Emote Circle. They are one of the major cartels that run all trade inside, outside, and around no man's land, the entire country of Old Mexico and El Paso. Oedipus is the most ruthless of them all, and his son, damn, one ugly sumbitch, Aislinn, was just killed the night before. This Aislinn guy, 6'5", about 220 pounds, yeah, not too fair in the face," Wanyanyekevu said. Jonathan raised his eyebrows and quickly interrupted him. "Not too fair in the face. That motherfucker was ugly. I mean, he could scare a fucking ghost with that face." Wanyanyekevu laughed. "Yeah, I guess you could say he was ugly. For I'm the one who killed him." Jom laughed and said to Wanyanyekevu, "I never saw you laugh like that before. Hell, I thought you weren't human for a moment." Jonathan shouted, "Fuck a laugh! You killed him!" He began pacing back and forth. "You killed him, hell to the nah, man." Jonathan held his head and took a deep breath. "Well, we definitely have to leave now." Jom turned to Wanyanyekevu. "I want to talk about this. This is the second time you saw something before it happened. Are you a psychic or some kind of voodoo priest?" "You did say you were from Louisiana." Wanyanyekevu, while checking the saddlebags on the horses they took from the men, said, "Everyone from Louisiana doesn't know voodoo or witchcraft. There are a few, but there are many believers in Sabaoth." Then he thought to himself, "Well, not many that I know of." Shaking his head, he said to the brothers, "We can talk about that some other time. If these men are as famous as you say, we need to go north a bit and bury these guys in a grave or something and be on our way. I want to be out of this state before sundown." The brothers ransacked the horses and the men's belongings, grabbing useful items, gadgets, and weapons. Then suddenly, you could see the two brothers' faces lit up with joy. Jonathan and Jom were laughing and joking as if they struck gold. Wanyanyekevu understood nothing they were talking about but knew that it would make their trip to Arizona safer, according to all the excitement. They had 2 horses as they headed out. Wanyanyekevu was concerned. "These last 2 horses will return to where they come from, unless we take them with us. If they get where they are going, we are just asking for more trouble. And look at this brand on their hind quarter. Surely someone knows who this brand belongs to." After burying the men, Wanyanyekevu grabs the harness of the other 2 horses that were left and decides to keep them. "I'll take one for you," said Jom. "Just until we realize what we are going to do later after we get to New Mexico." They headed north a bit, then headed northwest just to keep themselves at least 5 miles away from the bubble to a strange place called Anthony, Texas, and up the road read another sign. "Anthony, New Mexico, 1 mile. Jonathan jokingly said. "Look at that shit, they couldn't think of another name for the other town?" The New Mexico state border sign was in sight. Jonathan was so excited he shouted at the top of his lungs, "The last one there has to get dinner tonight." Kicking his horse on the side, he took off with Wanyanyekevu and Jom, quickly following as they all raced toward the state line.